Um, Ever heard of faking it till you make it? Well, that saying exists because it's true. You can't fake it and make it.
As the social sciences. They desperately...
Oh shit, let me start from the...
It's no secret that modern academia is overflowing with Reddit-level mitwits posing as intellectuals, especially in the humanities, which
University
they've
make me
rebranded
smart.
as the social sciences.
Yep.
They desperately...
Shitty thing about universities, you create a bunch of pseudo-intellectuals, people that think that, oh yes, I got a bachelor's degree, I'm smarter. Oh wait, no, 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 I got a master's degree, so I am smarter than you. Spending a lot of time in a university learning about how to, make a pot with ceramics does not make you smarter. Shocker.
want the prestige of science without any of the discipline, rigor, or methodology that makes science what it is. Even Karl Marx himself did this. He famously called his theories scientific. But by what standard? He just said it was scientific and everyone was expected to go along with it. This is where the rot begins. The belief that calling something scientific is enough to make it scientific.
Alright.
But the scientific method is not an aesthetic. It relies on empiricism, controlled variables, testable hypotheses, reproducible results, immediate feedback, and the ability to be proven wrong. The humanities cannot do any of this. Economics, sociology, philosophy, none of these fields can run controlled experiments on entire
imperialism
societies. You cannot hold all variables constant or run the same test again under identical conditions. And the stakes are catastrophic. A failed macroeconomic experiment can destroy millions of lives. In the humanities, you do not
You have a lot to lose if you try to get into communism, okay? If America were to hop into communism, even though it's a net negative, it's really hard to get out. It's a hard, massive task to get into a political system or a governing system and then get the hell out. Right, so it's not something you could just casually test. So we just had to observe other countries that did it. Right, let's look at countries like China, Russia, Peru, Venezuela. These countries, you like to think they're communist, right? Or well, China used to be communist. Now it's more capitalist. But like all these communistic countries, it's not communism, it's oligarchy. Like there's no such thing as equal wealth distributed to everybody. If you look at communist countries and you look at the government, everyone that works in the government, rich. Everyone not working in the government, poor.
Verifiable feedback.
It's oligarchy.
Mistakes take decades to reveal themselves, and decades more to even understand. When dealing with these fields, you're walking blind. The only reliable tools you have are logic and history. But these are the exact tools modern academia is trying to take away. Critical theory, academia's most beloved thesis, claims...
Critical theory. Critical race theory. I believe in critical thinking, but I don't believe in critical theory. Theory is just a theory. There's nothing critical about it. It should always be critical by default. It's like going to work, right? Like I'm always on time, and you tell your boss I'm always on time. Like, well, I hope so, because it's a job. You have to be on time every time. You can't. It's not something to brag about. Having a perfect attendance. You have to come on time. I don't care.
Logic itself is often unreliable. And, quote,
like saying critical theory, like, no, this theory should be critical by default.
History is dismissed as irrelevant. In our arrogance, we only teach post-World War II, and pretend that everything before the Industrial Revolution is meaningless. So our only approximation of empiricism, the record of human experience, is stripped from us.
Yeah, we should learn about the fall of Rome, right? Where, Rome was at the pinnacle of whatever, the golden ages, then people start practicing insane degeneration and debauchery, where you have artisans that would take on students, and if you want to be like the student of some pot maker or swordsmith, you have to have sex with them as a favor in order to learn their craft. Fall of Rome.
What makes this even worse? A student struggling in the sciences is encouraged to pivot to the humanities, as if they were the easy subjects.
Yep.
But that's the issue. A student who's bad at the sciences will be catastrophic in the humanities. In science, their mistakes will be caught through experiment. In the humanities, their mistakes simply become ideology. We should be sending our best and brightest.
That's right. You can get an A when you deserve an F. That's why all these students that are graduating from college, they're dumbasses. Generally dumbasses. And why would school do that, right? Why would they give you a pass when you deserve to fail? That's because it looks good for the school. You know, when schools get judged, they get judged based on their graduation rate. So it would make sense why school would just, or like colleges would want to pass their students. It's so that it will make their college look better. They will get more funding, and then it just makes them look good, and then it will make more money for the people that run the colleges. It's a private institution. What do you expect?
Instead, we flood the humanities with people who failed the fields that actually check their work. It's no wonder then that the modern pseudo-intellectuals hate IQ studies. They get mediocre scores, and so they nitpick.
Remember that video from Jubilee? This chick with her PhD has the lowest IQ out of everybody. And the guy with the CS major, which is like a real degree. I call it a real degree. I don't care what you say. It's a real degree compared to most things. And he has the highest IQ, to your surprise.
There's something deeper. In the secular worldview, where there is no god to bestow worth upon humans, the only thing that separates a human from an animal is intelligence. The more intelligent, the more human. So they cling desperately to anything that gives them the aesthetic of intellectualism. Scientific jargon, pseudo-empirical studies, infinite three-letter acronyms. Anything to avoid confronting their own.
Hold on. Given the strong reliance on reasoning, scarcity of reliable data, ideally no one with an IQ below 115, one standard deviation above should be allowed anywhere near the social sciences. Instead, we send the feeder kids. Indeed, IQ isn't a perfect measure, but it's undeniably a really good one. Besides, just do an IQ test. It's all basic reasoning questions. If you struggle with them, you will struggle with everything. IQ studies are some of the cruelest black pills there are, but them being sad doesn't make them untrue and explains a lot. Despite my caricatures, the average humanities university goers isn't stupid, just unremarkable. It means they're not special. I took a humanities class back in college. We just learned about religion. It is such an easy class. It was a fun class though. I like learning about religion and then watching the religious kids in my classroom argue with each other. I see Muslims arguing with Catholics all the time. They're probably above average intellect, smart enough to be able to learn from their teachers quick, but not smart enough to question them. Since that's perfect for our education system, they're treated as they're super smart and are praised for it. It becomes a part of their identity, but it doesn't reflect the reality. Oh, well, yeah, basically. Like, a lot of people like to be intellectuals. They will turn themselves into pseudo-intellectuals just to make, just in a way, as a form of pleasure, right? So they can tell people, oh, yes, I am this smart because I got this degree, blah, blah, blah. So they will put themselves into student loan debt, something that you cannot clean off if you file for bankruptcy. Student loans will fuck your life over. It will screw you in the ass with a pickle jar. If you have to go into student loan or you have to live in an RV in order to attend college, don't. All right? I've seen it screw over so many young people's lives to get into debt and living in an RV, getting just life is rough when you're doing that. And just get a regular job and work your way up. College is not worth it. For the most part, it is not worth it. Now, if you have money or you can get like really good financial aid and you had to pay very little rent and you just want to have fun, sure. Go for it. college is fun. I had a lot of fun in college. I could always party and then I hang out with a bunch of people. It was amazing. But then, that fun doesn't last forever, right? And you're young, you can like I think one of the craziest party situation I put myself in, I went to like three different parties on three separate days that each party went on for like the entire day. So I did not sleep for 3 days. I just go to party after party after party, and holy, it was the most insane moment in my life. I was not tired, but I was feeling the symptoms of exhaustion. I was not registering things. I couldn't think straight. I just kept partying on and on and on, and then when I finally got to sleep, as strange as it sounds, I didn't fall asleep immediately. It took me a while to fall asleep, but I was just tired, just and not be able to sleep. It was such a weird feeling.
Mediocrity. And that's the tragedy of modern humanities. They were destroyed by science worship, by people who wanted the prestige of a lab coat without the discipline of a laboratory. The problem isn't that humanity stopped being scientific.
You have to question science, right? Don't you remember back then we used to have taste zones in our tongues? Like the tip can only taste sour, the thighs can only taste salt, and then the very deep side could taste sweetness. Boy, was that wrong. Whoever invented the taste zone, yeah, that was wrong as hell, right? And also, Pluto used to be a planet. Now science says it's not a planet anymore because it's too small. Like your pee-pee. Boy, oh boy. Ooh, why did the UK cover up the grooming gangs? Oh shit, I want to see that.